And we are live. How is everybody doing? First of all, before we go any further, can you see me well and can you hear me well? I'm pantomiming because if you can't see me or hear me well, then we got a problem. And I want to make sure that we are good to go right off the bat. So if you could let me know in the chat. By the way, seeing a lot of friendly, familiar faces in the chat. So I want to thank everybody for being here, showing up to support Serial at Midnight live. You know, what's interesting, I used to do a lot of live videos in the past, and I kind of got away from it for a few various reasons. So this live stream is sort of an experiment to see if, oh, I got a 5x5. Good deal. Thank you, sir. This is sort of an experiment to see how this is going to go, how this format works. Because one of the reasons I want to do this is multiple. Um, Thank you so much, Kevin. One of the reasons I wanted to do this is because there's so much coming in, right? The call that physical media is dead makes me laugh so hard because I'm looking at a stack about 2.5 feet tall of stuff that's come in like the last 9 days. And so doing separate videos for all this stuff where I'm editing and I'm like uploading and then doing all that. One of the things you don't think about that you don't necessarily know how much work you're gonna have to put into it when you make a video is like the tagging. So when you make a video on YouTube, you upload it and then you tag all the things that people might search for. And it didn't like it ends up being 30 minutes just putting it on the platform. So this kind of bypasses all that. It keeps it live, it keeps it engaging. So I think this is going to be fun, and I'm really excited about it. So what I want to do is sort of run through these. Well, we're not going to run through it. We're going to take our time. Just sit back, relax, enjoy ourselves, and go through these new releases. Have a little conversation about them, and then maybe after that we could just kind of shoot the breeze about what's going on because there is a lot going on. There's announcements. We got the scary movie season, right? It's spooky movie season. Noirvember is just around the corner. So sounds like everything's looking good and sounding good here. So I'm just going to, guys, I see so many familiar faces in the chat. I want to thank everybody for showing up for this because that was one of the reasons I stopped in the past. Is like turnout was really low and it was a lot of like, what's your favorite movie? How many movies do you have? If you could make a sequel to any movie, what would it be? You know, that kind of a thing. And like that's you can only do those like every now and then, right? You can't do that consistently. So I think a good place to kick it off is with the new Toxic Avenger 4K set because there's a lot of conversation about this, right? There's a lot of there's even a little is it controversy? I think maybe it's controversy. So this is the Toxic Avenger on 4K box set from Troma. I did some poking around. I did some asking, some inquiring. Inquiring minds want to know. Vinegar Syndrome did do the transfers for these. MVD is distributing for Troma. It's on here somewhere. You know, it's probably on the discs themselves. Yeah. So here's Toxic Avenger 1 and the boom, MVD. So each one of these, I've watched the first 3 right off the bat. I'll tell you, I have not had many problems. Many boffins died to bring us this information. I had one problem with part 2 where there was like it's like a second. It was like a hot 1 second where the audio dropped out. I'm gonna back this camera up just a little bit. I feel like it's up my nose. The audio dropped out for like 1 second. And I was like, huh. Rewound it. Rewound, right? Like it's my VHS roots. I rewound the tape and it didn't do it again. It didn't repeat itself. So whatever it was, there's talk that there's firmware issue. Like I don't know if it's an encoding issue, an authoring issue. I don't know, but the one that I've heard had the most problems was part 3. Flawless win, flawless victory. I had no problems with part 3. So each one of these, I should tell you, has on the 4K disc, it's got a new introduction by Lloyd Kaufman, and the commentaries, right? And then the Blu-rays have the old introduction from Lloyd Kaufman from about 10 years ago, I guess when they first came to Blu-ray, and whatever special features already exist. The only real new thing here is the Lloyd Kaufman introduction. And then, of course, they're in 4K. Now, the question is, does the Toxic Avenger franchise need a 4K? I don't know that it does. But because they're so low budget, right? They're really they they're B movies, and they look like B movies, but they've never looked this good before. So that's cool. I mean, they're shot on film, so it's a nice upgrade, but they are far from flawless transfers. Because of the editing methods that they would have to use, they'll like there's clips from the first movie in part 3 at the beginning of it. It's like the origin recap, and it just looks bad because of whatever they did. They probably took a print and put it in. I don't even know. But I'll say this, the Toxic Avenger movies have never looked this good. And I gotta tell you guys, one of the things that struck me watching them this time, because I got the Blu-rays around here somewhere, but watching them this time, so Toxie's girlfriend in part 2 and 3 is Phoebe Legere. And I was like, holy cow, Phoebe Legere. And she's in another movie. Is it called Mondo New York? It's like a documentary about performance artists in New York in the 80s. And she's a big part of that too. And I'm like, I've kind of fallen down this Phoebe Legere rabbit hole because it's just such an interesting, like, if you look into it, she's a classically trained pianist. I think she went to Juilliard. She can play multiple instruments, and she's in the Toxic Avenger 2 and 3, and she does a lot of this like performance art stuff. But they say that she's Lady Gaga before Lady Gaga, sort of like an inspiration. I kind of feel like I have to talk to her now, but I don't know. I'm gonna try. You guys wish me luck. I'm gonna try to get an interview with her. I'll see more and more people showing up. Yes, that is absolutely correct. It's from Canada, guys. By the way, happy. One of the reasons I chose this date in history, is because it's a holiday in the U.S. and in Canada. So whatever you want to call the holiday in the U.S., some of us are off work, and in Canada, it's Canadian Thanksgiving, right? So kudos to the Canadians. Cheers. This is my mango chainsaw liquid death water. Let's talk about some Umbrella. If you saw my Umbrella interview, which a lot of you guys did, I was really happy with the reception to that video, because that took some. I'm just gonna say that took some balls to do. For somebody that works for a company to come on a YouTube channel. First of all, YouTube is not necessarily a most respected place for journalism. But he did. He came on because they see the value of connecting directly to the audience, and to go like on the record talking about Disney. This is balls, man. This is balls. So I was really, really pleased that people showed up for that. So I talked. Whoa, hit the camera. I talked about some of these. Like I held it up. We talked a little bit about this in that video. This is Sky Pirates. This is their website exclusive version of Sky Pirates that is limited to 300. But if you missed that, or if it's gone, if it's sold out, this is still there all day, every day. But it's a fun Indiana Jones clone, Indiana clone. They give us the poster. It's not a great movie. It's fun, but it's not a great movie. One of the special features is an interview. So back in, I don't even know what year it came out, but the Not Quite Hollywood documentary by Mark Hartley about exploitation movies had a bunch of interviews with Australian film creators. And so they talked to the producer, and the screenwriter of this has since passed away. But they're interviewing him back in 2008, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Crap." And I was like, "Well, he knows." He's like, "It's a 7 out of 10. I wish it was a 10 out of 10, but it's a 7 out of 10." It has like connectivity problems. Like there are set pieces that work. They don't necessarily connect together very well. But I mean, it's an Indiana Jones knockoff. There's canon movies that did that. It's cool to have an Australian movie. It's straight up exploitation. There's even a scene they go to a bar in the outback. It's like straight out of Mad Max. Like it's exploitation. Here are the cards that came with. Hopefully these are all okay. Sometimes these have nudity on them, and I have to look at them ahead of time. I've already looked at these, but I don't remember. And we are live. By the way, it copies a lot of other. So this is basically Apocalypse. No, The Deer Hunter. It's the Christopher Walken Russian roulette scene from The Deer Hunter. And then it's got a scene from it's got so many things now that it you're like, oh, that's from this. And that's fine. This is the coolest part of this movie that they shot on Easter Island. And that was one of their bragging rights that the producer was like, he said he sent a letter to Spielberg and he was like, guess what? I'm one of the first people, or I am the first person to take a Panavision camera to Easter Island and film. It's like, mic drop. He's like, did you do that? No, I didn't think so. So that's fun. And then this book that comes with it is the Indiana Clone's Diary with just a highlight of, so we got here, Indiana Clones of the 1980s, Race for the Yankee Zephyr. Got this one. I came in a little hot, guys. I came in a little hot. I'm like, and let's wind it down. No, I'll be all right. High Road to China is a great one with Tom Selleck. I Treasure of the Four Crowns. I don't know if I should go page by page through this, but it's really cool. Nate and Hayes was like an HBO mainstay. I think it was HBO back in the day. Anyway, there's a ton of them in here. They get into King Solomon's Mines, The Perils of Gwendolyn. So really, really cool stuff. And that's just this one release. But again, if you miss the limited, I think it's cool that they're doing it. What I like about this is that they're serving the collector base, but you have options. You don't have one. It's not one thing that you have to do. It's like whatever you feel like going in on, that's what you can do. Like if you want the full bundle, go for the full bundle. If you just want the movie with the slipcase, that's there too. You don't like there. It kind of takes a little bit of that fear of missing out of the equation. So this is The Last Wave. Beautiful, beautiful hard box here. And it's the same situation. We got the book. I love this. Needs to be like a wallpaper, like a desktop wallpaper or something. Maybe put this on my phone, make it the background. But I haven't got a chance to watch this one yet. There's going to be a theme for a lot of this. Is like I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. But I love these books. We got the art cards here again. Go through these, or I don't know if we call them art cards, but And this is the world's saddest garter belt. Somebody said The Last Wave in theaters when it came out. That's really cool. What was the reaction to it in the theater? Because this is kind of a mind trip, right? It's kind of doesn't go where you think it's going to go. Doesn't it get pretty surreal? And then the Blu-ray and the Blu-ray case. We have 2 discs of fun. This is a 4K, by the way. 4K and Blu-ray, which is cool. We heard a little bit about the cost associated with 4K in Australia because they have to outsource everything. Does this have reversible? It does. Oh, I've already reversed it. So it has this on the other side with the warning certificate. What does it say? PG. Let me see if that. So I'll pack this up, and while I'm packing it up, I'm going to take a peek at the comments. By the way, we're not going to go super long here. We'll do like an hour, maybe 90. We'll see how that goes. Hey to Sweden. Wow, we got people from everywhere. Some of them are lobby cards, and some of them are like poster art and stuff like that. Some of them were actually in the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Pack this back up. Again, I don't know if these are still available at the Umbrella site. If you do shop the Umbrella site, Serial 15, use that code Serial 15 because that gets you 15% off your order, which is, again, that's super cool of them to do because it's a way, like, they're getting business off of that, right? But it's they don't have to do that. Shane, all these shirts you go to serialatmidnight.com. And all the Serial at Midnight shirts are linked. There's a threadless store that you can access through serialatmidnight.com, or it's serialatmidnight.threadless.com, I believe. And sometimes they do sales. It's out of my hands. I don't fulfill it. It's kind of hands free, but they'll do holiday sales and stuff where you can get like 15% off, stuff like that. Also from Umbrella, I wanted to shout out these really quick. I did it in that video, but I want to do it again because these are rare movies. They're studio movies. I think there's both Universal, Paramount, and Universal. And this has a manufactured on demand DVD in the US. And I think that's the case with this one too. But these are pressed, factory pressed discs. And I know, some people are like, DVD, ew, stinky. But factory pressed discs of really obscure, like, who's heard of this, right? I mean, I have, but I don't expect it. Like Joel McRae, great in the Western genre, but I don't expect a lot of people to know about this. This is for a very particular crowd, and they've been serving these guys, the Western fan and then like the war movie fan, for like well over a decade. Well, the guy said, James in that video said that they've been doing it longer than he's even been with the company. Let's switch over to Imprint, because we got new Imprint too that we haven't talked about on the channel. So we're gonna kick it off with I'm multitasking here because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So Cross of Iron, this is a 4K. Wa la la la. And smells like a new guitar case. I love this because I'm a guitar guy, right? And so, by the way, I restrung one of my acoustics today. What'd you do today? I restrung my acoustic. So, but I love the smell of like, it reminds me of a music store. It has nothing to do with music, but it's that sensory. What is this? It's that sensory thing. Cross of Iron on 4K. Got Ultra HD disc and the Blu-ray with these. Is it showing up? Yeah, these features. I guess this is not going to be a 4K video because it's only, I don't even know what it does. 720 maybe? I don't know. It looks pretty good though. It looks better. This video quality, for me at least on my end, looks better than when I do stuff over Zoom, when I do interviews over Zoom. Like if I were to interview Phoebe Legere over Zoom, it wouldn't look this good. And then this is the Grindhouse version with special features. So I love these different versions. And I've heard both ways from you guys talking about, because like this is shelf real estate, right? And if there's one thing I've learned about fans, it's that we don't agree on our shelf real estate. So some people really want something huge and chunky on the shelf. And I know Imprint, like that's what they're doing. They're like, we're giving you like, the artifact. But I've also heard from people like, I wish they could just put all 3 discs in one case. Then I don't have to have like a VHS width on my shelf. Anyway, I'll hold this up. But we've already looked at all that. So this Cross of Iron, the next thing, this is amazing. This is super awesome. Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. So I feel like I'm not used to the way I just got to get used to it. So many comments going on. I'm loving seeing the chat over there, guys. 720. All right, cool. Good to know. Well, that's better than what it could be. So here we got Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia on Blu-ray with all these special features. I can go through some of it. I just don't want to. I hate reading to you guys. 2017 4K scan, so it could get a 4K at some point. Although 2017, that's kind of an older scan at this point. That's a 6-year-old 4K scan. We got 4 audio commentaries. Peckinpah Scholar. Yeah, I'm not going to read these 2. There's 4 commentaries. Isolated Score, Passion and Poetry, Sam's favorite film, A Writer's Journey. It goes on. And then Passion and Poetry, The Ballad of Sam Peckinpah. This is the documentary. How long is this documentary? 2 hours. And then that has special features. That's one of the things I love about Imprint is that it really feels like film school. And the second I said that, I was like, Bad News Bears go to Japan? I don't know. But most of it feels really like this is backwards. Feels really it's just like it's for people that love movies on the level that I do, where it ceases to become just an entertainment feel, then it becomes something that's like deeper, that you're pursuing the stories about the creators, right? And you want to know as much as you can about the movies. This. So I'm so excited about this. I think I've seen all these movies before. PJ is the real winner in here for me. When I saw PJ a few years back, here. This is their film focus series, which is going to be their actor spot. Well, this is the third volume. I think it's the third volume. So PJ is so much fun. It's like part Bond movie, part 60s detective movie, globe trekking sort of thing, but it's just so much fun. It's good. And like, I'm of the generation that grew up with, I've said this a bunch of times, but every video is somebody's first. I grew up with the A-Team. I love it when a plan comes together. And then you learn like, oh, he goes way back, to these great, think about the classic movies that he's in, right? But then I don't know how many people are talking about PJ or Pendulum, however you want to say it. And we're global, guys. Who directed Pendulum? George Schaefer. No, by the way, special features on these. This one has a few, and Pendulum has none. Well, it's got a trailer. No, it doesn't even have a trailer. High definition presentation. The Executioner. Now, is this based on the Mac Bolan novels? Co-starring Joan Collins, Judy Geeson. Covert Operation in Vienna. I don't think it is. Again, no. The A-Team was a great show, Adrian. I'm watching it again on Blu-ray. Yeah, I watched them on DVD years ago. Now I'm watching them again on Blu-ray. Just slow, because you can't. Well, maybe it's just the nature of how much I've got, right? How much is coming in constantly. But like, I'm not gonna just like binge anything. Like, I'm slowly making my way through Knight Rider again, and I'm watching the A-Team again, and like, it's kind of kid geared because nobody ever dies, but it's so much fun. And I just like and there's like a car stunt in every episode, like a big explosion. Scott, yes. Everything from Imprint is region free. That's critical. We've covered, this is up through 255. We've covered all of them here. I have covered every single Imprint release to date, including the Imprint TV title we're about to talk about. They're always region free. Imprint knows this. They're putting it's Viavision. Imprint is a sub-label of Viavision. They know this. They're putting out movies for a global marketplace, and they don't region lock anything. So Newman's Law, this is a really cool. It's almost like a blaxploitation movie. It's got that 70s that kind of a cop movie vibe with Papard, right? Leather jacketed, and it's kind of like, he's kind of corrupt's not the right word, but it's from that era, 1974, very counterculture. And this is where I grew up, right? This is the environment that I grew up in. So I resonate hard with it, like, don't trust anybody. Cops are crooked. Everybody's crooked, right? That kind of a thing. This is the last Imprint title. This is the Imprint television release number 5. And it's the Martian Chronicles. Somebody had asked me if I would compare it to the Kino Lorber release. I don't have the Kino Lorber release, so I cannot. But this does have a cool... This does have a cool lenticular cover that I like a lot. And here's what's included. I'll run some of this down. 1080p, of course. I like when they mention that it's 1080p as a special feature. It's like, I mean, I guess. Audio commentary by Gary Girani on all 3 parts. The Makeup Chronicles, interview with the special effects artist. The Sculpture Chronicles, interview with the sculptor. The Music Chronicles, composer. These are all new, by the way. And then Ray Bradbury, an American icon, documentary profile of sci-fi novelist and playwright Ray Bradbury, narrated by Rod Steiger. And I love this vintage art. It looks like like a Dell paperback from what is this, 1970, 1980. I didn't realize it was that late. Anyway, this is like, again, my era. This is my childhood era kind of stuff. $6 million man, that kind of a thing. So what does by the way, it's a tool disker. We got a tool disker here. Let's see if we can create an inception here. Yeah, there we go. It's just really well done. Just really premium feeling product. Oh, we have one more thing. This is the last of the imprint, but from Viavision, this just arrived, and I haven't seen anybody talking about it. It's Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. What did you guys know more than I do? Because I get in my little bubble. What is it? There's a new Roald Dahl. Somebody, some director, who is it? Just did 4 Roald Dahl four short films based on Roald Dahl work. Wes Anderson. So Wes Anderson? That sounds right. I haven't watched him, but like there's an interesting moment happening right in here. So this was I think it was a 5-season show, and this is half. This is the first half. So I think it's 12 discs. It's DVDs. Again, I haven't checked them to see if they're region free, but they will be. I say that so that if you buy it and it's not region free, I can be like, I didn't say it was. Don't blame me. Hey, don't blame me. But anyway, sometimes gory, but always surprising. This 12-disc set includes the first 69 stories from the entertaining anthology series. And so Roald Dahl wrote, like he was wrote like children's stuff, right? But he did a lot of things that were adult as well. And so sinister and with a touch of the macabre. Tales of the Unexpected holds at its heart a core of Black humor that makes each story compelling and surprising, with a twist in each tale that delighted audiences around the world. So it's Viavision doesn't go all out with it's a black art, black disc art, but yeah, we have confirmation that it's Wes Anderson. But like, this is a British show, and I don't think that we ever got this in the United States. Now, maybe somebody here, but maybe it was syndicated, because that's the thing. It could have been syndicated, and it just didn't play in my market. Or maybe it was even before my time, because this was 1979 to 1983. I wouldn't have been watching this. This is probably, or maybe I would have been. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, first half of it's out on DVD. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see what you guys are talking about here. All right. Well, Kevin watched it in the US every once in a while late at night. So maybe it was one of those syndicated, it's like Tales from the Dark Side, which, I'm watching another like I'm slowly working my way through like 35 different TV shows. I'll watch an episode. I'm like, that's enough for now. And then like a month later, I'll watch another one, or maybe 6 months later. But I'm slowly doing Tales from the Dark Side. They're not great. They have not held up well. Some of them. Now the movie, I like the movie. I can't wait for Columbo either. Do I write down where no, I use an app called TV Time. Let me see if I can pull it up here. There's an app called TV Time. It's free. And they'll email you when you, like, if you're subscribed to a show or something and there's a new episode, but I've got that turned off because I don't want to be bothered. I just want to be left alone, really. But it'll show, like, you can pick the show and then, like, just put oh, so here it is. Like, this is, and it's not showing up. There's a check. And so, like, The Powers of Matthew Starr. I'm on season 1, episode 3. Daredevil. When I watch it, I hit the check mark, and then it shows me where I left off. Dungeons and Dragons, The Monkeys. I'm watching The Monkeys. You weren't expecting this. I'm currently watching The Batman, the animated series. The Powers of Matthew Starr, Dungeons and Dragons, the animated series that I interviewed Mark Avenger about. I'm at the very end of a rewatch. I think I got 3 left. The Monkeys, the classic Monkeys series. Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, which will take me the rest of my life to get through, because a little goes a long way. The Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, Thundar the Barbarian. I'm doing a rewatch. The Adventures of Batman, the 70s cartoon series. The A-Team, the $6 Million Man. Star Trek, the animated series. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Dark Shadows. Have Gun Will Travel. The Incredible Hulk. Growing Pains. Show Me the Smile Again. Hercules, the Legendary Journeys. Northern Exposure. Baywatch. Mannix. Hunter. Mission Impossible. The original Mission Impossible series. But this is fun. When the last Mission Impossible movie was coming out, I was like, somebody should make a series out of this Mission Impossible. This was on Twitter. I was like, somebody should make a series out of Mission Impossible and just follow a different agent and their mission for that episode. And people were like, I don't think it would work. That sounds like it's really ambitious. And I'm just like, just laughing, because of course it was a very successful TV series for a long time, so much so that they brought it back in the 1980s. Surfside 6, which you will not find on DVD, but if you know where to look, wink wink, you can find it out there. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, Magnum PI, Tales from the Dark Side, Star Trek Lower Decks, Andor. I have one episode left of Andor and I just can't do it. I did not care for Andor. Aura, Battler, Dunbine, Anime, Bubblegum Crisis, Star Trek Picard, True Lies, which I guess I'm never catching up on True Lies because they took it off of all the streaming services. The Tower of Juraga, The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, Get Smart, Blondie, The Sopranos, Mad Men, Silk Stockings, Supergirl. These are what I'm currently watching, guys. This is not like my library. This is what I'm in the middle of right now. The Flash, the 2014 Berlanti Flash, Supergirl, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, The Adventures of Superboy, The Texan, with Rory Calhoun from 1957, I think it started. Space Ghost and Dino Boy, Space 1999, Robotech, Men Behaving Badly, the British TV series, Black Books, Farscape, Mikhail's Navy, Rocco Schiavone, which is an Italian show, Renegade, and then shows that I haven't started, which I guess I shouldn't even mention this because I actually haven't started them. I've got them loaded up so I can tap that check when the time comes. Anyway, that's the TV that I'm watching. So you know what? I am excited about the Babylon 5 Blu-ray release. I like how excited you guys got about some of that stuff. That's where I'm at, you know? And sometimes people go, how do you have time to watch all this stuff? Well, when you're not watching 12 episode streaming series that drop every week or whatever, because I don't watch a lot of that stuff. Like, I'm not watching Loki. I didn't watch The Mandalorian. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. I'm interested in this. When you don't watch that other stuff, a lot of which is padded out. Some of the stuff's padded too. Baywatch is incredibly padded. But when you're not watching that stuff, it frees up a lot of time. Like last night, I did a double feature of an old noir called Street of Chance from 1942 with Burgess Meredith. You're gonna eat lightning and crap thunder. But 1942, and in 1940, I'm writing a review for Street of Chance right now. Film noir. I'm trying to stock some of this, like stockpile for Noirvember, so that when Noirvember comes, I'm like, and we got new reviews every day of the month. Probably won't happen, but I'm stockpiling. In 1942, Burgess Meredith had already been working in Hollywood for 25 years. 25 years. That can't be right. Is that right? Hold on a second. No, it's when he started. I think it's when he started. Nope, I got my fact. When he's in the episode of The Twilight Zone. That's what it is. When he's in the episode of The Twilight Zone, crack, time enough at last. When that happens, he'd already been working in Hollywood for 25 years. That's the fact. Which is crazy to me because we only know him, like, we probably do, but like a lot of people only know him as Mickey, maybe as the Penguin, and then the old timers know the Twilight Zone, right? They're like, oh yes, he just loved books, he just wanted to read. But I watched that last night, and I watched an Audie Murphy Western from Kino Lorber's collection Trace with called Showdown, and it was fantastic. I mean, it was like noir influenced Western where, I'm going to save it. But people are like, how do you have time to watch all this stuff? Because I'm not watching crap. I'm not watching all the new crap that they're cranking out of these mega studios to waste our time and fill watch minutes. In my day, we had a movie and we watched it in 70 minutes. Anyway, that's where, like, we all have the same amount of time. So, let's get back on the new releases, and we'll continue the chat just a second. So, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is out now from Mill Creek Entertainment. It's the it's not Revelations. It's on Netflix. It's not Revelations. It's the other one. It's kind of like, I guess it's like a soft reboot, CGI animated series of He-Man. I don't love it. I'm devoted to the original and to the toys and the mini comics. I don't love it, but they put it out on DVD. And when I talked about it, like, I get it. A lot of people are like, DVD. It's numbers, man. It's numbers. This is gonna sell. It's gonna sell so much. A Blu-ray, 5,000. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I see when I look at Media Play News and I look at numbers and stuff, Blu-rays are selling 5,000 copies, 10,000 if you're really successful. This is probably going to sell 50,000 copies or more. And again, nobody's told me that. It's just when I watch numbers trends, this stuff goes in Walmarts and Targets and like all the places that people are like, they're stopping physical media. By the way, I was in Target today, several aisles of physical media. So I have yet to, I've tried to get statements from people at Target. I can't even get I can't get anybody to answer the phone. I don't know if that report's true or not, or if it's just like, I heard, and then it just gets passed around. Still there for now. This is going to end up in a lot of big box stores. It's going to end up on Amazon. It's $15. So that's an impulse buy. And I also think a lot of Gen Xers and older millennials are going to use this to babysit their kids. Because this is a show for children. And I think maybe that's a consideration for why this didn't get a Blu-ray release too, is because I think the target audience for this is younger viewers. Is it TVY7? I think is what it was. Anyway, again, I don't love it. So I'm not trying to prop it up or to bash it, but sometimes when companies do these DVD only things, that's why. It's because they're going to sell so many DVD copies, and Blu-rays, like, it's mostly for the collector market at this point. And I'm not diminishing this, but if this was the original series, like the original Filmation series on Blu-ray, holy cow, that'd be a huge deal. By the way, I don't think that's ever going to happen because, I talked about it in the Laurel and Hardy. It's weird to talk about He-Man in a Laurel and Hardy interview, but I did with Randy Skretvet because he was talking about how Hallmark had gotten a hold of Laurel and Hardy stuff and just got rid of it. They're just like, nope. And I was like, that's crazy because I heard they did the same thing with like He-Man and G.I. Joe. Like in the 90s, they got their hands on Hallmark, got their hands on a bunch of classic TV and just like threw it away. That's allegedly. If there are Hallmark lawyers watching this, allegedly. So like the original source elements, like the cells and the film elements and stuff. They're stacked. These are 3 discs stacked on it's 4 discs actually stacked on a hub. So just passing it on. Where's the 4K? I like that you put the laughing emoji by that because people really do say this stuff. They're like, where's the, like, I don't have to get into it, right? I mean, if you guys know, like somebody's going to spend $20,000 to press 4Ks of something that they're going to sell 100 copies of or 500 copies. Do I have Doctor Who on Blu-ray? Yeah. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, but classic, not necessarily new. I have Eccleston, Tennant, Matt Smith. I think I got all of Capaldi too, even though I bailed on Capaldi. I talked about this on Facebook and people got mad at me. It's like more and more people are getting mad at me about having an opinion about something. They're like, you're a traitor to fandom. You're sleeving your discs. You're a traitor. You don't like Peter Capaldi. You're a traitor. Like this weird territorial tribalism stuff. When Peter Capaldi did Sonic Guitar, I was like, this feels like toddler stuff. And then we went to Sonic Sunglasses and I was like, I think I'm done. And I have not. I just stopped. I was like, I can't handle any more of this. And I stopped. And I haven't yet. That was years ago and I haven't gone back. So I've seen none of Jodie Whittaker's stuff. And like now Russell T Davies is back and I don't think I care. Didn't we do that already? But Classic Who, yes, I've got most of what's out. What I don't have, I'm just waiting for a sale. Because a few times a year they put those things on sale for like $20. I've got both the Colin Baker seasons. I've got I think I've got everything that's out for Tom Baker, because Tom Baker is my doctor. He's the one that was a PBS in the 80s. He was the one that I was like, what is this? Like, it was scary. It was like magnetic. So yeah, Peter Capaldi has a really interesting career outside of Doctor Who. Oh man, this is stacking up so fast. When a movie comes out with multiple commentaries, do you watch them all in a row? No. And honestly, even getting to a commentary at this point with the amount of volume that's coming in, it just depends. I have commentators that I like, that I will try to make time for, but I can't, like this movie that has 4 commentaries. I'm sure I'll watch them all eventually, but it won't be it won't be now. So, I would love Blake 7 on Blu-ray too. I love Blake 7, and it's a shame that, especially in the US, you can't even find Blake 7. You know what? I'm going to shout out. Years ago, 2005, I think, there was a Doctor Who podcast, Podshock, Doctor Who Podshock, and it was 2 guys in New York, Ken and Lewis, that did a Doctor Who podcast, and they were like watching. We had to torrent Doctor Who in the US to see it, because there was no US distributor for that first Christopher Eccleston season. And so we would like BitTorrent it, or we BitTorrent it. And they were doing a podcast about the episodes as they would come out. And I was a fan of their show, and like I had emailed them, and Ken, the statute of limitations is expired on this, burned me copies of all of Blake 7 on DVD-Rs and sent them to me. I don't think he charged me. I think he was like, I'm just happy to spread the love of Blake 7. So that's how I got Blake 7 on disc. And I'm thinking, I don't have an official copy of Blake 7. So yeah. All right, we got a few more new releases. This is cool though, because we like talk about a new release, then we get sidetracked. I haven't even unwrapped this. We got 2 from Arrow here that I haven't even unwrapped. So we got the Iron Fisted Monk and the Desperate Hours. So I'm really excited about the Desperate Hours, because I love Humphrey Bogart, huge Bogart fan. Did you guys know I'm a huge Humphrey Bogart fan? It's stinky old DVD, but this box set is amazing. It has a bunch of the movies. Let me see if there's like a back flap that shows everything that's here. It's got the Brothers Warner documentary in here. All right, we'll just do this real quick. San Quentin, The Roaring Twenties, Dark Victory, Virginia City, Dark Passage, Key Largo, Casablanca, The Treasure of Sierra Madre, Action in the North Atlantic, Passage to Marseille, To Have and to Have Not, The Big Sleep, The Maltese Falcon, Across the Pacific, All Through the Night, Brother Orchid, The Amazing Dr. Clitterhouse, Invisible Stripes, High Sierra, They Come by Night. They Drive by Night, by the way. Sorry. They Drive by Night. The Petrified Forest, Marked Woman, Kid Galahad, Black Legion. This is why people are like, DVD sucks. I'm like, are you sure? I mean, come on. Huge Humphrey Bogart fan. And it also has this book that comes with it. Hardback book. Well, there's the list right there. That's the list. Way to go, Heath. Come! Talking about each movie, synopsis for each movie. Somewhere in here is reproductions of letters. Anyway. Film doesn't have smell-o-vision, so you can't smell them. Well, they smell great. They smell like success. Do you feel the same as me, where it comes to watching movies on physical media, it feels like you're allowing the movie to be treasured, where a streaming movie, the streaming definitely feels disposable. Streaming is a great tool. Listen, I embrace streaming for certain things. Discovery. Streaming is a great tool. However, it is not a substitute for ownership. It is not a substitute for a library. And that's the only thing that bothers me is when so many people today, and not everybody needs a library. And I don't, having a library, I don't need to own everything. And if I didn't have a channel, would I own as much as I do? No, I would not. This is a very interesting position that I'm in. And you guys know, like, I take it very seriously that I get to cover these things for you. The purpose, still, people are like, they think the channel is to brag. The channel is to serve, to serve man. Am I right? Twilight Zone reference. The channel is to show you, trying to unwrap this. The channel is to show you what's out there so you can make an informed purchase decision. And I say that as often as possible, and still people just, they hate. They hating on me, man. So that's one of the, like, I take the responsibility very seriously. That's why these videos exist. But then for me, like, I love doing this, right? But I also love the interviews and the conversations, the deep dives on stuff. I love showing you my Humphrey Bogart collection. That's not the whole collection. That's just the DVDs. So let's see if we got a reversible. Oh yeah. It's a weird card to put in a Humphrey Bogart movie, Dolls. But I actually, Dolls is such an interesting movie because you see the roots of that puppet master thing that Charles Band was messing with, but it's like a dark fairy tale. See what we got here. The Desperation of Humphrey Bogart by Philip Kemp. A Bike and a Broken Jaw. William Wyler's The Desperate Hours. Ooh, that is some small print. I love it. Again, one of the reasons for those just joining, one of the reasons that I am doing these live videos here is because think about if I had to make an Arrow video, an Imprint video, an Umbrella video, and that's what I've been doing for a few years now, and it's just too much. I've reached a point, it's just too much. Like, let's just do this. What's my thoughts about mixing form? For people that are watching this video. About to reorganize my shelves. Currently have DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K separated. What's your opinion on mixing formats on the shelf? Do it. Do what works for you. Do what makes you happy because it's your collection. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It matters what you like. I have it all mixed together. And because goodness, I think everybody knows at this point. Like for things like just like beater discs and stuff, like things that aren't super sexy, like this is the one I grabbed. So Scream on 4K. This is the Dark Force Entertainment's low budget horror movie shot on 16 millimeter. That's going to go in a sleeve to make room for something like this or Imprint, so that's me. And it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. All that really matters is how you feel about it. If it makes your life easier, it might be easier to find things if you've got it all mixed together, or maybe it won't. I don't know. What is this? All right, we got a poster here, double-sided poster. I love Arrow's commitment to these martial arts movies, but man, there's so many of these coming out. I think my thoughts on Sammo Hung have been well documented at this point, so I won't go into them. We have a booklet here with the Cantonese Crossroads of the Iron-Fisted Monk, From Feng to Hung by Brandon Bentley. Somebody uses DVD Profiler to keep track of their discs. I use my CLZ or CLZ. It's from a company called Collectors with a Z. And I have a comics one. I have a movies one. And they even track digital in there too. Like if you have a digital collection, which people do, and more power to them. This has a 2K restoration, English dub, or the export dub for the first time in the US. Audio commentary by Frank Jang. Great commentary guy, great commentator. Two archival interviews with Sammo Hung, an interview with Casanova Wong, original theatrical trailer, reversible sleeve with the 2 pieces of art, double-sided poster. Yeah. And believe it or not, there's still more here. Beast from a Haunted Cave just arrived from Film Masters. David Bixby, or David, you have a remarkable memory. That is, wow. Film Masters is doing incredible stuff. I've, everybody said the interview I did with the founder of the label. Do I need to? I don't need to do that, right? Or should I? Out of the ashes of the film detective comes Film Masters. That's what it comes down to. And it's the same people behind it. C. Courtney Joyner, Ballyhoo, Don Stroud's doing a lot of the booklets. Did he do the booklet here? Tom Weaver, Bantering with a Beast by Tom Weaver. Corman Goes to War by C. Courtney Joyner. I've told you guys this before, but C. Courtney Joyner has the most encyclopedic movie brain I have ever seen. I was talking to him just maybe a month ago, and I was like, "Hey, man, I just watched this. I don't even remember what it was. He does. It's some movie I just watched, and I was like, I just watched the movie. He was like, oh, 1957, blah, 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 blah. He's like, naming the director, like off the top of his head. So it's a 2-disc set, 2 Blu-ray set. We got the Beast from the Haunted Cave Special Edition with the theatrical version and the TV version on both versions on the disc. Original theatrical trailer, recut 2023 trailer, commentary, still gallery. Does this have aspect ratio? Because the giant Gila monster had the aspect ratio choice. The carbonation, the liquid death carbonation is starting to get to me. I don't want to belch into the microphone. And then a Ski Troop Attack, full HD film, commentary. Who's doing the commentaries? Tom Weaver's the commentary on Beast from the Haunted Cave. And C. Courtney Joyner and Howard S. Berger, oh snap, on Ski Troop Attack. And then Hollywood Intruders Part 1, a Ballyhoo Motion Pictures documentary. 2023 Ski Troop Attack recut trailer. Holy cow. It's a ton of stuff. And I said what I said about Mystery Science Theater 3000. I love these movies. If I know people want to make fun of them. I know that part of the fun is like, look how silly. I love these movies. These are some of the movies that made me fans of older movies, like Humphrey Bogart. Like these were gateway movies for me. And so I love that they're presented seriously. And it's not serious because they're not like nobody's acting like they're Citizen Kane. Respectfully, I guess is what like they're presented kind of respectfully. And I really dig that. This showed up, I don't know if I can show here. I'm going to do this. Haunted Samurai. This is a little bit of nudity here, so I'm going to cover that up. This just showed up from, I know Diabolic DVD. It's Jesse at Diabolic DVD and his partners there. And it's coming out from, who is this? It's so small. I'm sorry. I'm looking for Diabolic DVD is one of the copyright names. Anyway, you can get this at different places. It's one of the most violent samurai movies ever made. And they're doing a one-time pressing for this. I don't remember if they said how many units it was, but basically they financed, it's a restoration, it's a new restoration, and they have financed one print run of this. And after that, I don't know what happens to it, but it's got a commentary by Chris Poggiali. These fist break bricks is the name of the book, right? John Charles. The most gory ninja film of its era, now on video for the first time ever, based on the works of Goseki Kojima, the artist behind the legendary Lone Wolf and Cub. The tale spins topless crossbow vixens, haunted temples, and an assortment of severed limbs into a tapestry of colorful violence. It sounds really cool. This slipcover is. I just showed it. Okay. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. This is like Vinegar Syndrome kind of thing where it's really thick cardboard. Anyway, I'm doing my due diligence to let you know that this exists. All right, I'm going to take a break for a second from the new releases and let's just chat because I'm going to hydrate and read your comments. "50 Sci-Fi Dad." All right, let's see here. Cinematic Trash, email me. But what's interesting, like but from a Gen Z perspective, I mean, does Gen Z care about my opinion? That's my thing. It's like, does anybody care about, like, Gen Z are the people who usually come after me and go like, bro, do you even collect, bro? So I don't know. You tell me. But email me. I'm open to an interview about that. We can line something up. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna go through these kind of quick because I don't even know what some of this stuff is. This is from Cult Epics. This is The Last Island, which I've never seen. The last place for a new future. 5 men and 2 women who survive an airplane crash discover they may be the only survivors in the world. The question arises whether the human race can survive or does mankind destroy itself. So it's got Paul Freeman from Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is history. Shelley McLeod, Kenneth Colley from The Empire Strikes Back, Patricia Hayes from Willow. Let's see. New 2K restoration, audio introduction by producer Dick Moss, audio commentary by Peter Verstraeten. Behind the scenes. Who's seen this? Does anybody know anything about this? We have a new release from Radiance doing incredible stuff. Radiance, this is The Dead Mother. Let's see, 1993. I'm not even going to try to attempt to pronounce it. 4K restoration of the film, supervised and approved by writer-director. No. Audio commentary by... No. I couldn't show that to you anyway. I love what Radiance is doing. Very, very obscure stuff that I've never even heard of. What generation am I? I'm Gen X. I'm a 70s baby. Late 70s, but 70s. 2 from Undercrank Productions, which is Ben Modell's company, where they're doing restorations of Silence. I don't know if we have any silent movie fans here. I know I get a lot of silent movie fans in my videos when they comment and watch the fresh flavors and stuff. Silent cinema is in a great place. So these restorations, so this is a Tom Mix 2K restorations of Sky High from 1922. Somebody thinking of that Kurt Russell Disney movie. Isn't that called Sky High? And 1929, The Big Diamond Robbery from musical scores by Ben Modell. Ben Modell, he's touring constantly. He goes to these showings, and these silent movies have no sound, obviously, but they have accompaniment. He's the guy that plays the accompaniment on the piano or the organ or whatever while the films are playing. You want to talk about pressure? That's crazy to me. Like, okay, I'm going to play 2 hours of piano or whatever without error, timed, synced to the thing that you're watching. It's crazy. I hope to interview him. We're talking about seeing if we can do an interview with him, just to talk about the state of silent movie and restorations. Because like with those Laurel and Hardy movies, the Year One, Laurel and Hardy Year One, 1927. So over the weekend, this past weekend, they were doing one of the antenna channels, Catchy Comedy, or maybe it's Decades. I think it's the same channel. They were doing Laurel and Hardy marathon all weekend long, and the prints were bad. And so we had, like, it was on in the house as we were doing other things. And my wife, Bree, was like, I was like, these look really bad. And she was like, could it look better? And I was like, so I fired up the 1927 set, and I was like, this short is actually from 1921. And it looks so much better than what we're watching from 1939 or whatever. Silent film restoration is like, it's amazing. They're bringing this, when you remove the barrier of that visual, like, this looks old, when you get that out of the way and you can just see, like, they're just like us, like the food, the clothes, the landscapes and everything, like the buildings, the concrete, they're just like us. So I want to talk to him about silent film restoration. And then Raymond Griffith, this is a two movie pack as well. We got Paths to Paradise and You'd Be Surprised, 67 minutes and 65 minutes. There's a featurette, a 12-minute featurette about Raymond Griffith on this. I should mention, these are manufactured on demand, so they're not factory pressed. Actually, this one is factory pressed. Sorry, that one's factory pressed. I think the Tom Mix one is, yeah, this is like that, the manufactured on demand. I will say I've never had a problem with the manufactured on demand disc. Interestingly enough, when I interviewed Fred Olin Ray and J.R. Bookwalter and David Sterling talking about, I think I called it Indie Creator Roundtable, or it's on the, it's here on my channel. They Fred Olin Ray was like, because J.R. Bookwalter runs MakeFlix, which does a lot of manufactured on demand stuff. He thinks that's the new future. He's like, you do it manufactured on demand, you take out the risk. And Fred was like, no. And like, I think I cut it out of the final interview because it got a little, like, it wasn't hot. I don't want to say they were arguing or anything like that, but like Fred was like, I'm not sold on manufactured on demand. And J.R. Bookwalter was like, why? And he was like, because I just don't feel like the technology's there. I just think that we're just not there yet. And he's like, no, Jared Bookwalter was like, no, it's fine. Like, there's no problem with it. It's really good stuff. And he's like, okay. And then Jared Bookwalter's like, we'll talk about it later. So this is hot. So you think about the people that make this stuff, right? Like, they are the same as us. They're the same two people, the same kind of people. Like, they have the same conversations we're having. This is the last one, guys. This is the last blood from, is this 88 films? Yeah, 88 films. The last blood, when a high-ranking Tibetan Lama is wounded by terrorists, only a transfusion of his ultra-rare blood type can save him. Heroic Hong Kong cops Andy Lau and Alan Tam must protect the unlikely donor, Eric Tseng, for the assassins out to kill him. Shot in Singapore on location, The Last Blood also features former Kung Fu icon Lung Kar-yan, and it's from Wong Jing, City Hunter, God of Gamblers. So much of this stuff, I have no idea. I'm like, uh-huh. So we got a limited edition slipcover. Let's see. Commentary by Frank Jang. Reversible cover from Sean Longmire, who I mean, that looks really good. And it's that sturdy, thicker cardboard too. Let's see what our reversible artwork looks like. And then there's the poster. But yeah, you guys, it's coming out so fast. Like, these Hong Kong movies, like, at this point, I'm just like stockpiling them because I can't get to. I did the math the other day. The Shaw Brothers box sets from Arrow have 11 or 12 movies per volume, 4 volumes in 6 months. And then on top of that, they did the Brave Archer collection. They did, it ended up being close to 60 movies in 6 months. How can anybody keep up with all? We can't keep up with all of that. All right. So that's just the last 9 days or so, right? So that's why we're doing live. We're going live. All right, let's talk. What is it? We've been going for about an hour, so let's shoot the breeze for a little while. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's see. Yeah, there's an Arrow sale going on right now. Their Shocktober sale. Scream Factory is also doing a Shocktober sale. The prices didn't seem. I feel like maybe the prices were better last year than they are this year, but I didn't do a huge deep dive on that. Man, I would love those John Woo movies. John Woo was like, man, that stuff's really good. Do I want any George Montgomery westerns now that we have? Yeah, I'd love some George. You know what? I'm going to write that down too, because the next time I talk to Frank Tarzi, I'm going to ask him about that. Let me go into my notes here. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Let's see here. I know this is not great. Great video, but I do have a list of running questions for Frank, and I'm trying to. Let's see. George Montgomery westerns, a la Audie Murphy. Okay. The Prime sale, yeah. What's going on with this? What are they calling it? It's not even Prime Day. It's like Deals Day or something like that. Amazon. Hey, new subscriber. Thank you so much for being here. Ask Frank to do a UFO. I will. You know what? I'm gonna write that down, but I don't. I feel like I can hear what Frank's gonna say to that, but I'm gonna ask him. UFO box set. They did do the. 'Cause here's the inroad to that is they did the Thunderbirds movies, and those ended up in the Wild Supplies last sale. So either they didn't sell well, Jerry Anderson. We're talking about Jerry Anderson's UFO, right? Or they lost the license to that. You are welcome for the Laurel and Hardy interview. I thought it was. I didn't know if anybody would like. I didn't know what the reaction on that was going to be because it's Laurel and Hardy. I mean, we're talking about stuff from almost 100 years ago, but the reaction was really positive. And Randy knows his stuff so well. I think it was fun just to listen to him. Yeah, I'll ask him about slipcovers too, because that is. I mean, like real talk. Not talking to Frank about this, but just my opinion. Slipcovers are selling most of the industry. That's what people care about. They care about the slipcover more than they care about the movie. Which is kind of frustrating for me because I want to have conversations about the movie, and all people are like is like, bro, the art, bro. And I'm like, what did you think about the movie? And they're like, I didn't watch it. How am I getting on with the box sets of Dark Shadows? So I'm in the third set, about halfway. I've gotten kind of bogged down right now because of the other stuff that's happening right now. But I was there's a plot point with Victoria and Matthew, the groundskeeper, and I was into it. I was really feeling it. I was like, this is what this series needed. Like, it was direction. Like, it had momentum. So hopefully they can keep that going. Yeah, the Thunderbirds movies were released by Twilight Time. Although I never knew what were Twilight Time titles limited to. Was it 3,000 or was it less than that? I remember the Dark Shadows series from the 90s, but I didn't watch it. Thank you so much for watching the Culture Shock interview. That was really fun for me. I knew about Culture Shock, but I didn't know about Culture Shock, and so getting that insight, and I think I said in the interview too, like I wanted it because I'm interested in journalism, right? Like that's the secret is like I'm kind of a journalist. That's my interest is I want to have conversations with people, like Phoebe Legere, knock on wood, and that's my interest. And I was like, what's happening? What's the state of horror journalism or pop culture journalism? And he was like, it's all gone to commentaries. And I think he's right. No, Frank doesn't talk numbers usually. Well, not like that. He's not going to talk about what's a success and what's not. He'll say like it didn't do what we hoped it would or something like that. And I think that's probably a sliding scale anyway because if they have like a 4K needs to sell a lot more than something that's maybe, you know, okay, what's that movie that just came out with the Barbarian brothers? What was that movie that just came out that I still haven't watched? But like, I don't know if they're expecting huge sales on that, But for like the good, the bad, and the ugly, you probably want at least 10,000. So probably slides up and down. I had some like, do you guys see The Fugitives coming out on 4K? I'm really excited about that because I love that movie. I like the sequel too, U.S. Marshals. But I like The Fugitive is such an important movie, and I'm happy to see Warner Brothers going to put it out and they're doing special features on the 4K. There's no Blu-ray, but they're putting all the special features on the 4K disc, except for one. They're leaving off. It's the pilot to a 2000 Fugitive reboot that I guess didn't make it off the ground because I don't remember that. But they've left that off, which I'm fine with because it has nothing to do with the Fugitive movie that's on the disc. So that was encouraging to me. It's like, okay, well, if you're going to leave the Blu-ray off, at least carry over the special features. And that's what they're doing. Now we'll see what happens next month, right? That's just one release. Because I know they left them off The Exorcist, and I know they left them off everything. Like, what was the one that we just talked about? Enter the Dragon. Left them off hours and hours of special features for Enter the Dragon. Not on the 4K. In the UK, yeah, but not in the US. The Fugitive somebody picked up The Fugitive on DVD for 50 cents. That's a great deal. I posted on Instagram a while back. I'd gone to a thrift store and they had, I mean, it was just like rows and like a huge shelf. It's like 4 shelves of DVDs for $2, not 50 cents, but $2. And it was like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and they had Warner Archive discs, and they had comedies, and they had 60s movies, and they had like all kinds of stuff. They had Singing in the Rain. And I was like, if you were a new movie fan and you wanted to own, because I don't know how many streaming platforms a lot of that stuff's on. You'd have to have HBO Max, you'd have to have all of them. Like for what you would spend, for 1 month of a couple of services, you could have these movies forever. And yeah, they're DVD. But for me, the point was always access first and then upgrade. It was always get my foot in the door with access first. Be able to watch the movie on my terms, listen to the commentary, watch the special features, whatever, without having anybody standing between me and the movie experience. So if that was DVD, great. And then when the Blu-ray, then you upgrade from there. But more and more, guys, it seems like if you don't start with 4K, you're just trash. And I don't understand that mentality, but it's out there, and it's a strong, wide held opinion. I don't get it. It's as if the medium itself matters more than what's on the disc. I don't know how to speak to that because I've never understood that. That's not what my fandom is. Like, I say this a lot. I'm not a fan of shiny discs. Shiny discs are a delivery system. I go back to tapes, right? To cassette tape, videotapes. I don't like the disc is a delivery system, but it seems to be the whole experience for some people. Scott, thank you. Thank you. That is super cool. Scott with the super. That is really kind of you, man. Thank you so much. Anyway, I mean I'm not trying to pick a fight or anything, but like when I posted the thing about the DVDs at the thrift store on Instagram, there's a lot of people are just like, DVDs are garbage. Why would you even? And I'm like, so you can watch a movie? So you own that movie and you don't have to subscribe to somebody to go see it? Like what? Like is that hard to understand? I don't know. And this is the thing, like I have had these conversations so many times over and over. It's not I don't give up. But I'm like, if you don't understand that, and if you haven't heard the message, I don't think we can. I can't talk to you about that. Like we're not on the same level at all. We want two completely different things. Okay. This stuff's great, right? But this is a gateway to an experience. This is a gateway to cinema. It makes me sad that people buy this stuff like a baseball card. And look, if that's what people want to do, that's fine. But there's stuff on it. You put this in a player, it puts movies on a screen, and it's cool, and you can watch it, and it like tells a story. I don't know. It's weird. This is such a weird time for physical media right now because it's like as the mainstream market dies, the collector market's taken over. How many of the collectors don't care about the movies? I don't know. Some movies and TV series will only get a DVD release. That's right, Scott. Most movies and TV series are like the vast majority are only going to get a DVD release because the materials that survive are only standard definition. What did I buy? It was some 80s show. Might have been Growing Pains. I don't remember. I posted about it on Twitter or X, and somebody's like, why wouldn't you wait for a Blu-ray? I'm like, okay, this was shot on video tape. It's not going to get a Blu-ray. We have Doctor Who as an exception to that, but the Doctor Who video upgrade, the classic Doctor Who shot on videotape, you can't tell that they've done nothing really to be able to upgrade that for the Blu-ray experience. But the Blu-rays of Doctor Who have loads of special features, which is one of the selling points of those. Jeff says his hobby is watching films, not collecting them. He buys discs because that looks best. Like I like to say, like my disc collection is an extension of my movie fandom. Because I know people that buy discs that aren't movie fans. I don't know any movie fans that don't buy discs. You want to be a cinephile, you want to be a movie fan, you've got to buy discs. Like Leonard Maltin, like he read it, he wrote a book, right? His last book, Starstruck. He talked about it wasn't even what it was about. It wasn't about physical media or anything like that, but he talked about going out to his garage and browsing the physical media because that's how some movies only survive. And I'm like, yeah, everybody that loves movies has a collection. They have a library. You don't have to have everything, but you're going to have some form of a library. I'm having a hard time realizing that people that have a library are not necessarily interested in movies. That's weird for me. Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's just I've been here too long. Let's see. We're talking about videotape in the comments, 1-inch versus 3/4 inch. Star Trek: The Next Generation was exception. Also an exception. Yeah, those Blu-rays for Star Trek: The Next Generation were so expensive. The HD scans for Star Trek: The Next Generation, because they had to go back to the film elements and then redo all the special effects. And I think it was like, I don't know if you can find this officially. It took Paramount about a decade to make that money back. Like they put them out season by season on Blu-ray. They didn't sell. And then they packaged them together in the box set. And people were like, what, $100 for a series? And they're like, well, it's 7 seasons. And people were like, no way, Paramount, screw you. And it took them like forever. I think they've made their money back at this point, but that's like, it was a cautionary tale for every other company considering Blu-ray of a classic television series. It was like, you won't get your money back, or you might, but it's like, it's a real risk. So that's what, when people talk about this stuff, like, why does it someone have a Blu-ray? There might not be any money in it. It's got to sell. And you think about a TV series, which may have 100 episodes, or that's 100 hours, give or take. It's expensive. I don't think we're ever going to get Deep Space Nine on Blu-ray because of what I was just talking about. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Or Voyager, because Voyager's not on Blu-ray either, right? No, or it doesn't have HD on Paramount Plus. Let's see here. I'm excited about Babylon 5 coming to Blu-ray because I'll be I haven't thought about that show in a long time, to be honest with you. So I'll be revisiting it with pretty fresh eyes, like 20-something year fresh eyes. So I am looking forward to that. I wish that they put the movie. I wish they put the series out before the movie, the Road Home. Is that what it was called? Because I was like, I don't really remember where we're at with this. I didn't remember some of the characters. It would have been nice to have the refresher first, watch the series, then get the continuation. But I don't know why it worked out that way. The Incredible Hulk TV series does look great on Blu-ray. Enterprise looks good on Blu-ray. We do have a lot of them, Enterprise was shot in the HD era, so it's easier to do. Let's see, we're at an hour 20 roughly. Let's go for about 10 more minutes, then we'll sign off, guys. You got any topics you want to hit this session? And by the way, how has this gone for everybody? If we did this weekly, the weekly might be too ambitious. Should we do 2 weeks? I don't know. I'm really looking. This was the test to see how this was going to go before I buy. You have to pay for this, StreamYard, Streamlabs stuff where you can do the overlays and you can cut to screenshots of things or whatever. Like, you have to pay for that. So like, before I subscribe to anything, let's see how it goes. And I'm curious to see what the interest of keeping this going is. Because for me, like when I'm done with this, no editing. It's just there for anybody that wants to watch it. And I guess I'll have to see how it performs too. Hey man, it's Steven. It's Steven and Movies. It's good to see you too. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, Pop Retro. You're the best, man. I thank you so much for coming. I have a lot of respect for you, and that you took the time to be here means a lot. Shane, thank you, man. Thank you. Super chat from Shane. Okay, I'm seeing some support. I guess there's like a little bit of, I think maybe there's a 60-second delay or something like that. So I'm seeing some support now where people are like, yeah, let's keep it going. Digging the live format must be easier to do. It is easier, but you know what? It's also different because it's like juggling. Because I'm a perfectionist, and what you see on the channel that I've edited, There's no telling how many takes of that I did. I think the peak, I did like 60 takes. Not full, like 10-minute videos, but like start it, like get a minute or two in and be like, nope, it doesn't feel right. And start it over. Like it is an OCD, but it's also like I drive myself for the most conversational, the most engaging. If the energy's not right, I'll start it over and I'll stop it and start it over again until it feels right. And that is a lot. Thank you so much. DIY Craft Q. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will keep it going. I will do it twice a month. We got to vote for twice a month. 2 weeks sounds good. We got 2 votes for twice a month. Nice. Seeing a lot of 2 times a week kind of people. That works for me. The end of October is going to get crazy busy for me. So maybe we do one more of these in October. Focus on maybe some horror stuff or some Halloween stuff. And then supplement those in the middle with my interviews, the podcast stuff, and then maybe anything else. See, here's the cool thing about this is if this works out, this frees up more time for me to do some featured topics, like some that journalistic stuff that I want to talk about. Where I'm like, okay, there's one in particular that I've wanted to make a video about this for a while, but I just haven't had the time because I'm on you hear YouTubers talking about the YouTube content creator treadmill. That's what it feels like. Like you just like serve it. You gotta just on this treadmill. I want to get off that treadmill and start doing things that come from my heart that really have value, because a lot of the new release stuff, the new release stuff gets the most views, right? But it has the least lifespan. You watch it once, you don't need to watch it again. It doesn't have any value after that initial watch. So I want to create some stuff that's got more value for long term. Have I thought about doing an out and about style video, thrifting for albums, things like that? I have done those in the past. The thrift store series, which I don't do anymore because my thrift stores are Deadsville. They're Deadsville, Daddy-o. My thrift stores are just, they're there, but I haven't found anything in ages. But I used to go take the phone into the thrift store and just like film all kinds of stuff. But when I go in, there's nothing there anymore. So I could do more out and about videos as long as it works schedule wise and I'm not putting too much effort into it. And it's something that's interesting for people. Is it always better to upgrade certain movies like The Matrix DVD to 4K, some of the Back to the Future, or is it okay to keep the DVD? Man, whatever works for you. And I know that's not necessarily the answer you're looking for. It's whatever works for you. I upgraded Back to the Future to 4K. Someone gave me The Matrix on 4K. I don't want Reloaded or Revolutions or Resurrected. Is that the name of the new one? I don't even want those in my collection. But I'm glad I have the original Matrix on 4K. I think I've watched it once. It's you. How often are you going to watch it? Are you going to get your value out of it? Is it worth the upgrade? Because not everything is. Is Toxic Avenger worth the 4K upgrade? I'm not sure. It depends on how much of a Toxic Avenger fan you are. So that's the best question for you. Well, best Audie Murphy Western. Oh man, that's a tough one. I just did a review for Kansas Raiders, which I really like, but I mean, he's got a lot of great ones. And I just want Jeff, thank you, man. Super chat from Jeff. Thank you so much. Man, you guys are being so supportive. So supportive. Somebody went and got a burrito. And they're like, he's still going. Yeah. Hey, you didn't want to pick me up one? That's fine. That's fine. Where did you get the burrito is the question. Taco Bell or some other place? Did you go to Chipotle? Sponsorships from Chipotle. I'm open to it. I'm trying to be more open with sponsorships. Like in the past, I've been like, no, this has nothing to do with physical media. Somebody was like, maybe you should be a little more open to it. It's like, okay, maybe so. Because it would help the channel. Do you think they will have they'll do a new 4K of the original Planet of the Apes? Man, I hope so. It needs it. It for sure needs it. But given the state of things right now with these corporations, I don't know. Because isn't Planet of the Apes Fox? Who did Planet of the Apes? Isn't that 20th Century Fox? That's Disney. I don't even know. Bob Blast, yeah. Hey, I'm open to Liquid Death sponsorships too. If Liquid Death is watching, I know they've got the money. Yeah, it's Fox. I was thinking it was Fox. Um, Jonathan Melville is here. I just saw Jonathan. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, Jonathan Melville. If you don't know, there's an interview here on the channel with him. Wrote some great books about Highlander, Local Hero, Trimmers. He's doing commentary stuff. He's hosting panels. That he took the time out to be here for this. That's really cool. A Stephen J. Cannell special. Jonathan, who would co-host that with me? Do you know anybody that would co-host that with me? I think that sounds like a really cool idea. Man, I'm loving the Cannell stuff coming out of VEI, but I just don't love the VEI physical media presentations because they put it in like the pockets, like put it on a hub, man. And even if I want to take it out, here's the thing, like I don't do anything with my TV shows as far as like sleeving or whatever. My TV shows, that's one of the things I'm making room for is for more TV shows because they take up so much room. Like the Gunsmoke box set, ooh wee. But like VEI has put out, I'm not even going to try to name them all, but it's a lot of Cannell shows. We talked about in that Jonathan Melville interview here on the channel. What do I think of taking discs from various sets and combining them into one set? Do it. Do it. Do what works for you. It is your collection. It is your collection. Whatever I do it. I know people that work for the studios that do it too. And I'm not even talking about distributors. I'm talking about the studios. Make their own combo packs. Do it. Ain't nothing to be afraid of. Whatever works, whatever makes our lives easier, whatever makes the discs, what's on those discs easier to get to, that's what you got to do. Am I watching serials and will we get more serial videos? Not currently, no. I'm halfway through the Jack Armstrong, All-American Boy, All-American Hero, whatever it was called. I'm still halfway through that. No, other stuff has taken precedent. Do I have any more commentaries coming up in the future? Yes, I do. I have 2 that I'll be recording this month, I believe, but I can't say what they are. But when I can, I'll let you know. But yeah, I think the year is going to end with me having done 5 professional audio commentaries. And I really enjoy that and I want to do more of that. That's a great lane for me since I do care so much about the movies themselves. I would love to do more of that. So if anybody's watching this and like, would Heath like to do a commentary? Yeah, bring me on board. This is going fast, guys. Zora's fighting Legion and King of the Rocketmen again. Nice. Those are good. I don't remember Zora's fighting because there's 3 Zoro serials, right? I don't remember what differentiates them, but I love King of the Rocketmen. And there's a serial at midnight. Hey, did you do that on purpose? There's a serial at midnight episode about King of the Rocketmen. Serials at midnight. All right, guys, we're gonna wind it down here in just a couple of minutes. I was mentioning on Robert Meyer. Yeah, Dieter's doing the sleeves thing. It's so interesting that anybody cares. Damien, I don't know why anybody cares. I really don't get it. Life is so short. Why? Because here's again, we're not going to end this video with negativity, but like I took some of my Blu-rays out of one case, put them in another case that takes up less space. It is as if I set them on fire. And Dieter loves it. And good for Dieter, because you know what? That's all that matters is if it works for Dieter. If he's able to buy more movies, watch more movies, store more movies, have access to more movies. There's that word again, access. That's all that matters. Are we collecting for ourselves? Or are we collecting to show it to other people and go, yeah, jealous? Like, what's the point of a collection if it's not to make you happy and to fulfill yourself? So, yeah, it fascinates me that anybody would care. Let's end it on something that the cases don't go in the trash, but what if they did? I mean, it'd be bad for a landfill. I mean, I'm putting them in the hands of people that can use them. The outrage is real. Yeah, for real. The outrage, so much outrage everywhere. Something gets announced, outrage. You know, why isn't it 4K? Or if it is 4K, why is it this DVD? Such a fractured fandom right now. I want King Kong 33 on 4K too. This is the anniversary year. I don't understand. I don't understand. And doesn't it go into the public domain after this year? Because then it will be 80 or 90. Be 90. Yeah, 90 years old. What's going on with King Kong, guys? Ever thought, this is a good one to end on, ever thought of what it would take to make your collection finished? My collection was finished years ago. I have everything I ever wanted, in some form. DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. My collection is complete. At this point, it's just gravy. And that's why I'm so joyful about what's happening right now, is because this is the gravy train. This is the gravy time, guys. This is the time when things beyond our wildest imaginations are happening all the time. Toxic Avenger on 4K. I can't believe that. We now have Ghoulies, Toxic Avenger, and Swamp Thing, and Return of Swamp Thing on 4K. What? What? This is where we're at right now. And some people choose to complain. I'm like, wow, this is really cool, because you don't have to have that. If you got on Blu-ray, cool. If you got on DVD, cool. You don't have to have the 4K. But this is the gravy time. This is this time right now where everything is like, I don't even know. Kino Lorber is announcing stuff, and MBD. Those are a lot of the, like, MBD did Swamp Thing and Ghoulies. I'm like, it's blowing my mind, because I know that for a 4K to be profitable, they need to sell at least 10,000 copies. Usually, can go up, can go down. Generally, a company needs to sell about 10,000 copies to make it worth their while, because they're spending six figures on a restoration, and then the authoring and the packaging and all that stuff. The pressing of itself can be $5 per disc, depending on the print run. It's expensive. It's super duper expensive. Jesse from Diabolic DVD talked about that when he was here on the channel a month or so ago. He's like, it's really expensive. So when I see something announced for 4K from Kino Lorber, I'm like, really? That's crazy to me that this is so, but it's a great time because we just get to enjoy it. Like for me, 30 plus years, and I'm winding down. I'm winding down. I'm 30 plus years into collecting. I started buying my movies. The first movie I remember buying for myself was 1989, but I don't remember if I bought it with, it might have been a Christmas present. It was Batman 1989. The first movie I actively went out and bought with my money was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in 1991, because I loved that movie. I was renting it every single weekend and watching it 2 or 3 times during that weekend and then having to take it back. I was like, Mom, Dad, can I just buy this movie? And they were like, yes. So that was that was the beginning of it. And then from there, VHS, I've been collecting for a decade when DVD came along. So I'm now in college buying DVDs, going to Circuit City and going to Best Buy and Suncoast Motion Picture Company, rest in peace, buying my movies on DVD. And then Blu-ray comes along and it's like, this is like the cinema in your house. So now 4K, I mean, I've got everything I ever wanted. Everything I ever wanted, I've got in some form. So the gravy era, it's a wonderful time. Are there 4K, are there MOD 4Ks? I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. We'll do this again soon. This went really, really well. I want to thank you for being here. This was great to just hang out with you and to chat. And I mean, you're why Serial at Midnight exists, because if it was just me holding stuff up and going like, I think that this slipcover feels really good, I wouldn't be doing this. It's the community. It's the love of movies. It's I use the word joyful a lot, but it's the positivity that exists in this community. Because when you get outside, it's a scary place. It's like, it's like the beginning of Terminator, with all the pew pew lasers and the sky is black. Like that's outside of our bubble. But like here at Serial at Midnight, you guys are so supportive and you're so kind and you love this stuff as much as I do. So thank you for being here. I'm going to sign off for this one. Thank you guys. We'll do it again soon. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.